Alrighty. Hello and welcome everybody to Season 5, round number 2 for Tier 2 around the Imola circuit. And we are getting underway here for qualifying, and it's safe to say that it's going to be action-packed with a lot of drivers who are going to be quite pacey, and it looks like there's a bit of rain out there on the circuit, so that could throw a spanner into the works for some of these guys. As I just got to get the wrong setting, graphic settings back up because of the last time I was playing. Obviously, I can't have them up because my PC is dookie. Anyway, so people will probably end up having to go to the intermediates very soon. Some drivers of note, obviously, look out for Milan and Jaden Squires. Zonix, obviously, our round 1 winner. Phoenix is another person to look out for, same with Magic Shot. Then also look out for Kizzy, and I would also say then look out for Sparks in the Ferrari. So, it's all to play for, especially in a track that's only going to get wetter as time goes on. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the pace stacks up. But the first person we'll go on board with in this qualifying session will be Milan in the Aston Martin as he opens up the DRS to come onto the main straight and the run down into turn 1. You can already see the track looking a bit greasy there from the rain, so you're going to have to be careful under the traction zones. Down to 4th gear, get it tipped in, and he goes over the curve a bit too much, runs out very, very wide. And that track is already looking quite wet, and if this wasn't qualifying and people hadn't already gone out on the dries, people would be on the intermediates, as you can see the puddles forming very rapidly across the circuit. And, oh, a bit of a spin there for Milan. We'll now go down to Sparks, who's seemingly picking up the power very nice and easy. No wobbles at all, nothing to be concerned about for him. Just a dab of the brakes into the apex, 4th gear. Touch of understeer, but he's not even looking bothered by this wet weather on the slicks as he short shifts. And DRS is disabled, so that will hurt the lap times of everybody still going. And Sparks now into the braking zone, flicking the car in very nicely there, and into Aquaminerali, just a dab of the brakes, 4th gear, get the car rotated. No problems under traction for him, really, just a bit of a little correction, but basically nothing at all for him there. And Jaden setting provisional pole with a 1 minute 21.9. Let's see what Sparks can say about that, but with these ever getting worse track conditions, it's going to be very hard to match that time. As Sparks hanging into the final braking zone on the circuit now, and then getting the car across for the final corner. No complaints at all from the car there. And on the throttle to the line, it's going to be a 1 minute 23.1, and he goes P2. Jaden with a 21.9, looking pretty safe for pole, as it is now wet conditions, and a couple of drivers having to come out on the intermediates. So, Magic Shot now on a lap in the other Mercedes. So, his teammates on provisional pole. This track is probably too bad for soft compound tyres or any dry compound tyres now, as you can see by the fact that he has absolutely no grip out there at all, as there's a yellow flag that was a car spun in the background. We'll go off board with Magic Shot, and I think it's safe to say he won't get anywhere past the top 8 because it's just too wet now for anyone to be going faster than anyone on these dry tyres. So he's still wobbling under traction. Oh, he invalidates his time as well, so he's now going to have to come in and do a time on the intermediates and just hope it's good enough to put himself into the top 10. But yeah, as I was saying, Jaden Squires is a very easy pick for pole now because of the conditions getting worse. So we'll move to Zonix, who's beginning a flying lap in the Aston Martin. His first flying lap of the session, which is unfortunate for him because that means the man who I think most people would put on for pole isn't going to do all that well as Jaden retires in the pit lane, knowing that this session is pretty much over unless it dries out again, which it probably won't looking at the track conditions. Zonix down to 5th gear, Flickit in 3rd gear, hope the car sticks, he picks up the throttle nice and early, and it says purple in Sector 1, but we all know that probably isn't true. And Zonix going very quickly here, but he is on the intermediates. It's looking very nice and tidy, but I don't think it'll put him in a good position. But a position is better than none, so with no lap time, if he just sets one, he'll be P12. So heading into the chicane, hard on the brake, 2nd gear, understeer there because of the conditions. And he smashes down the power. And he's going to go to the final 2 corners now, hard on the brakes for the final heavy braking zone. And now probably just a lift or a dab of the brakes into the final corner. And, he invalidates at the death of it. And I think he would have set a 1 minute 24 there, which would have still put him in a decent position, probably around Noah. As Kizzy now starts his lap, but we'll go to Kia, who's just gone P2 while on the intermediate tyres. So these conditions are definitely drivable up to P2, but nobody's going to beat that 21.9 that was set in the conditions that just between inters and dries. But it's still possible to play for the top 2 if you get a hooked up enough lap. So we'll keep watching on here as Kizzy getting the power down nice and early here. The intermediate's not slow by any mean of the word, because everybody else did lap times on a semi-wet track with dry tyres. And he gets the car into the corner, not really, but good traction as he gets onto full throttle through Aqua Minerale. 3rd gear, the car just being reluctant to turn in because the track is so wet. I don't think he'll be making any inroads on the leaders here, but it'll still be a lap time on the board, to say the least. As Kizzy running very wide out chicane there. This isn't a very good lap, but it's going to do the job. As flat out through the right, and then just hard on the brakes into the final 2 corners. Get the car rotated through the final corner, unlike Zonix, and he should be alright. The track looks to be getting wetter, but I might just be imagining things as Kizzy does a 1 minute 27.6, proving that these conditions, while drivable as Kia proved, they aren't easy. And I don't think Kia's improving anymore either, but we'll have to see. Magic Shot beginning his lap, but we'll go to another driver as we've already looked at Magic Shot. We'll go to Milan, who's coming to the line to finish his lap. It's going to be a 1 minute 23.8, putting him P6. Taipan TJ is entering the first 2 corners, but we'll move to Spicy because he is on a lap. He's 0.6 down for the moment, but we'll have to see how it evolves as Sparks is on an outlap and the other Ferrari just behind his teammate on the track there, so we'll go on board with him with the telemetry up for his final run, as he did go P2 earlier, so it'll be interesting to see if he can topple Kia on the leaderboard. As through the final 2 corners now, will Spicy be able to improve? It's not look too bad, as Zonix gets a 5-place grid penalty for collision with Melbourne Mac, so that'll hurt his charge even more here in this qualifying session. Spicy he does improve, but barely, as we'll now go to Sparks beginning his flying lap here. And obviously no DRS. I was about to say DRS open, but it is the wet conditions, so none of that here. Hard on the brakes down into turn 1, carrying 144 k's an hour into the first apex, and getting on the power seemingly effortlessly, but he runs out wide because he doesn't bolt enough lock on and invalidates his lap. And he will not continue to push, obviously. He'll go again. For the moment, we'll go... Kia didn't improve, so I think the track has now worsened. But Milan to the line, looking to improve again, potentially. He was up on his time as we just went to him. He does improve, but it's only by 18 thousandths. So, not much to find. Magic pushing on another lap here, but he's holding the brakes just a little bit, so maybe not pushing that hard. Maybe he's just trying to get some battery back. Spicy, I think, will come in. Mickey's retired. I think he's realised the track isn't going to improve now, as I think Sparks might have had a spin. No, he's just going slowly. There was a car that was spun there. It's Frosty. So that's unfortunate. He's just going to sit on the side of the road. Hopefully he doesn't get disqualified for not moving. But we'll go Sparks as passing Frosty. Type in TJ now retires from the session in the pit lane. So yeah, I think the track is now at its worst stage. Sparks might still go for a lap anyway, as he has the battery. And it just doesn't look like it's any good out there. And Sparks comes into the pit lane. I think the track is done now. Nobody else is going to be able to put a competitive time on the board. Yeah, well, dead heat, it's not dry. And also, Sparks did his time on like a a pretty much wet track with Inters dead heat. So I'd say that's a pretty good time. But at least from the look of it, Jaden Squires is gonna and has put it on pole. So the Mercedes has done very well there to get out early, get a lap time set. The 21.9 versus a 23.0, and that is absolutely awesome from him. Sorry, I'm just yawning the whole way through. What a commentator I am. But I dropped the controller voice. Hold on. Oh fuck me! It went as far away as it possibly could. Yeah, thanks, Teddy. Appreciate it, mate. There we go. I got it back eventually. Milan down on his time, sorry, as there's yellow flags. It's Magic Shot spun around in a similar spot to Frosty. But right now, I don't think the track will improve, so I think it's going to be a P1 and P7 for Mercedes. Not a bad result at all in qualifying. Obviously, they've got to keep it together in the race. We'll see what the conditions are like in the race. If it's wet, that could be very interesting. And Noah is out on the track still on the intermediates. His throttle flickering seemingly a little bit there. Anyway, through the final corner he goes. Will he be able to improve, or will he come into the pit lane? Comes into the pits. Phoenix on a 26.2, 2 seconds down in that Williams. Melbourne Mac going through the chicane, entering Sector 3, invalidates. Alpha 3 is up on his time, but by nowhere near enough to topple a position. So I think he'll stay 17th. But we'll have to see. Man, why am I yawning so much? Anyway. Alpha 3, rounding the final 2 corners now. In the McLaren. Will he be able to improve by any amount at all? I doubt it. The track is way too wet. I mean, actually, he will improve, but it won't be competitive. And he just dives into the pit lane. Alright, buddy, Lindsay, go sleep. Let Senna commentate. Nah, piss off, Kia. I'm just yawning. It's not because I'm tired, I'm just yawning. I don't know why. So, everybody into the pits, except for Kizzy, who's on an outlap. I don't know why Kizzy's doing another lap. The track is way too wet to improve. There's a couple of people going out again, but I just think the track is way too wet to improve. There's no way anybody's going to find any lap time. As yeah, a couple of drivers retiring from the session, I might just go into Tier 2 chat and just save us some time. Yeah, you could have done your time on drives as well. Stop making excuses, mate. Everybody, he was like one of the last people to cross the line on drives, but everybody else invalidated or half spun. As Kizzy already off the track entering his lap, so that's not a good tone to start his lap in. But he goes anyway. So I should probably get the stream link in the chat. I don't know why it doesn't go there when I post it, but it goes there when I bloody press the stream key. So, Kizzy on a lap, but I don't know why people are going out. I just don't think it's possible for you to improve in these conditions. It's so incredibly wet. And he invalidates his lap time anyway, so it proves pretty useless for him to go out again. Webbo also invalidates. Spicy invalidated as well. I don't know why people don't just retire from the session. Like a lot of people have, but it's just so wet out there. Like, look at that. That's full wets. Honestly, you could drive in full wets in those conditions and probably be faster than you would be on inters. Clappy, you should return to the Tier 2 action just so they get another driver on the grid. Also because we need some more Tier 2 terrorism. Tier 1 sees a lot more terrorism than Tier 1 nowadays. Anyway, Broadstar... Oh, well, actually, we'll go to Sparks because he's still at a chance of toppling Kia if he thinks he can improve. As he gets on the throttle, nice. Oh, and he's put it in a wall, and he's out of the session. And just... the car had a bit of wheel spin, and he just decided to turn right, so that wasn't great. As Broadstar now getting through the second chicane. And on the brakes, get the car rotated in. And as he gets up the gears, it's just, it looks so like, I don't understand why people went out, as the session is over now, so people just gotta bring their laps home. Down to third. And just into the braking zone at the chicane. Just, yeah, it's just so understeer. It's a slippery mess out there. In qualifying, there was just no point to go out again. Oh, as Broadstar puts it in the wall. That's a really weird place to put it in the wall. Okay, so Jaden chucks it on pole with a 21.9 on the soft tyres. Then we have Kia on the intermediate setting a 23.0. Then we have Sparks on the softs in pretty much wet conditions at the time he set his lap with a 23.1. Then we have Mickey on softs as well, 23.4 for P4. And then Frosty rounds out the top 5 with a 23.7. Then we have Milan, Magic Shot for the other Mercedes in P7. Then we have Broadstar, Taipan, Spicy rounding out the top 10. Noah, Webbo, Kizzy, Melbourne Mac, Bomber, Phoenix, Zonix, Alpha 3 to round out the grid. Zonix has a big job ahead of him now if he wants to go 2 for 2 in this season for wins. As it's looking like it's dry. As we go to 5 red lights here for the Imola Grand Prix here in Tier 2. And it's lights out, and away we go here. Jaden gets off to a very good start. The rest of the grid going super slow. Sparks moving up into P2, using all of his battery. Frosty's up into P3 now, looking for a move on Sparks potentially. And Magic Shot moves up into the top 4 from P7 on the grid. And it's now Jaden followed by Sparks, followed by Frosty, and then Magic Shot. Kia plays putting the pressure onto the back of Magic Shot, and now Milan also following close behind as Kia's going to go for a move on Magic Shot. He goes down the inside. He just ran into the side of Magic Shot and spun himself around and lost Magic Shot a little bit of time there. And Frosty now going up the inside of Spark for P2, and he gets the move done here, and that is an incredible move by Frosty. And he moves up into the top 2. Meanwhile, further down, Melbourne Mac and Kizzy just nearly went wheel to wheel into Aqua Minerale. And Melbourne Mac runs wide now. That allows Zonix to get through. And Kizzy has damage on his Red Bull's front wing. He has no front right end plate. That is not a good start for his race. But there's 32 laps in this race after all. It's still all to play for anyone in this Grand Prix. So, Taipan now putting pressure onto Broadstar here for the top 6 places. Jaden sets the fastest lap with a 1 minute 22.799 here for the fastest lap in on lap 1, but obviously we will see that improve. Sorry, my English skills are not Englishing. As Taipan TJ just not able to catch up to Broadstar in a straight. Milan putting some pressure on Magic Shot now. Magic having to go a touch defensive there. And going into the hairpin, this is where Magic Shot had a dive bomb made on him last lap, but not this lap, because Milan is not as suicide dive bomby as Kia. He's a bit more patient. And Milan just chilling in the top 5 right now, and can slowly pick his way up through the grid as Sparks still behind Frosty. And he looks like he definitely has some pace underneath him here. So, Milan gets the chicane good, and it does the chicane well, and Magic Shot got all out of shape there through the exit, and now he's using his battery. Milan, hit the back of Magic there, sends them both a bit out of shape, but they managed to keep it together under the braking. Milan should have not half committed there. He looked like he was going to go left, and then he just broke right behind Magic, as Spark setting the fastest lap with an 18.3, 5/10 quicker than Jaden's lap was. While he's in the lead. Magic Shot now having to defend from Milan. Milan thought about going the long way around. Forces Magic a touch defensive. Tries to get the triple switch back here. He succeeds. And he now pulls alongside, but backs out of it there just a little bit on the throttle as we head into the second chicane. Magic doesn't quite have the pace of that top 3, but he's holding on to 4th place quite well. Meanwhile, I saw further up the back here, there's a big battle train going on here. Spicy went up the inside there. Noah loses out, has a bit of a moment there. Now the Alpine and the Ferrari having a bit of a battle. Mickey heading this train like Fernando Alonso in Monaco 2022 in the Alpine. And he is a train conductor, we must say. He is driving the train of about 4 cars here. But now PS Bomber pulls to the left, looks for a move on Zonix, the 2 ORL TikTok content creators going for it. Meanwhile, Spicy and Mickey went side to side through the chicane. And Mickey's trying to find a move here on Spicy, but Zonix now getting involved. Goes for a move on Mickey, gets up the inside, and I think he's going to get that done through the final corner. Mickey hangs it around the outside and can't quite pull it off, can Zonix. But Zonix now has the DRS, but Mickey also has the DRS, but he has no battery. As Mickey thought about going down the inside there, Spicy decided to be more patient as Mickey has a moment there. I don't know if that was contact with Zonix or just a general snap of oversteer, but that was an interesting snap as Jaden dropping down the field. I haven't even noticed it. He loses P1 to Frosty, and now he's under pressure from Sparks. Sparks backing off the throttle and getting behind Jaden. Sparks seemingly not wanting to make any sort of overtakes in this race. So we'll go back to Jaden, who's dropping down the field on those hard tyres. And P4 and P5 have caught back up as Milan also got past Magic Shot while we were looking at that train. So everything kicking off here on lap 4 of this Grand Prix. As Magic has another... Oh no, that was Jaden this time who has a poor run through the chicane. And Jaden under mad pressure here from Sparks. And Sparks doesn't go for a move again, so I think he's looking for the turn 1 overtake. Frosty has 7 tenths to Jaden, but Jaden will have the DRS, but Jaden comes into the pit lane. I think he must have damage there, and we'll stay on board with him. It just makes no sense to pit here on lap 5 unless he has damage. Yep, he has no front left end plate. I don't know how or why, maybe contact with Frosty, but that's an unfortunate dent in his progress in this race. He was leading off of pole, and now on lap 5 he has to come in for a new wing. Seemingly, so does Kizzy down in P18. So, these two not having a fun time of things, and Jaden now has all of the work to do to catch up in this race. So, it's now Frosty versus Sparks for the lead, and then Milan and Magic Shot for P3, but Milan might try to get himself involved here for this P1 fight as well. Same with Magic Shot. Taipan, 3.8 seconds behind, down in P5 with 3 cars behind him, Zonix and 2 cars behind him, Zonix and Broadstar. And he might be under a bit of pressure here. Soon enough, Alpha 3 makes a move on Mickey. No, he didn't. Mickey spun around out of Aqua Minerale, and that is unfortunate, as no one needs an invite. I'll get him in. I didn't even know he left. I don't know why he left, but I'll get him in. But this cable is too short. Anyway, as Sparks makes a move on Frosty for the lead into turn 1. What a great commentator I am. My controller disconnects at key moments in the races, guys. Anyway, Sparks moves up into P1, and just look at how his car just turns on a dime there. Just looks like he has so much grip out there. But Frosty will try to stay with him here, and I'm sure Sparks will try push away, but everybody else behind him is on lower... Frosty behind him on lower battery. Then we have Magic Shot and Milan on higher battery than him. And Sparks just can't pull away from Frosty yet. Sparks keeps it flat through there and just gets on the power so smoothly there. He's truly taking care of those rear tyres. I think he was having some tyre wear trouble before the race, just in practice. Broadstar in P7, looking to see if he can make a move. Oh, Taipan with a massive drift there into the chicane. He has 98% battery though. He's doing very well to manage his battery. Broadstar though, potentially going to look for a move here. And he thought about it, but now Spicy and PS Bomber are going to get involved here in the Ferrari and Alfa Romeo. Trying to get up. Oh, as Broadstar goes into the gravel there. And Spicy gets on through, and with the DRS, he's going to have to close up. Sparks and Frosty going side by side as they head into turn 1. Frosty gets a 3-second time penalty. Sparks loses out to Milan in the meantime. He'll maybe lose out to Magic Shot as well. Magic backs out of it. Knows better than to go for a move around the outside of turn 4 and 5. And now he's going to have to put the pressure on Sparks from another side. And now he goes to the left here. And he thinks about going up the inside, but he can't pull alongside. Sparks seemingly just a bit rattled after that. But Frosty with a 3-second time penalty on lap 7 is huge in this Grand Prix. Oh, damn it, Noah, what is wrong with your connection, man? Anyway, as the clouds are quite dark, if we look to the sky there could be rain scheduled in this race, I'm not sure. But I'd say it's probably unlikely, but we don't get access to the forecast as spectators. As PS Bomber making a move, or trying to make a move on Broadstar here into the final couple of corners here. He goes up the inside. He squeezes Broadstar just a little bit wide. Melbourne Mac now trying to get involved. He moves up into P9, uses some overtake, clears the Red Bull, and now he's going to use some a dose of DRS to get past PS Bomber. And PS Bomber's going to get absolutely swarmed here. He's now getting attacked by Alpha 3 in the McLaren. Can't pull anything off. And now Broadstar gets involved, goes up the inside of Alpha 3, and he spins it around. That was random. I don't even think he made contact with Alpha 3. he just spun around very aggressively as Jaden setting the fastest lap on of the Grand Prix as Alpha 3 not having a fun time of things. Phoenix now trying to make a move on him, and that is unfortunate. It's the yellow flag. Milan has spun around and he's lost his end plate and maybe just the whole other side of his front wing, it looks like. And that is unfortunate. He was fighting for the lead, and now Sparks first magic shot for the provisional lead after penalties, and Frosty leading the way out front with the time penalty. So Milan absolutely ruining his race there until there's a safety car at least, and Taipan TJ running wide there out of the chicane. So just a bit of everything going on in this race. A lot of crashes, a lot of incidents. But as we move to the lead, Sparks looking like he might go for a move here for P1. He goes to the outside and he's going to sweep through with superior straight line speed and seemingly through the corner's superior grip. He just picks up the throttle so quickly, but Frosty staying with him. Bless me. Anyway, so Frosty and Magic Shot now have the task of staying with Sparks in that Ferrari. Zonix 3 seconds behind. You've got to take note here. This is super impressive from Zonix. Zonix started all the way down where Kizzy is in P18, who's just gotten a penalty as well, while we go to him. But he started last place in this Grand Prix, and Zonix finds himself on lap 9, 2.8 seconds behind the leaders in P4. That is super impressive to pull off. As PS Bomber picks up a 3-second time penalty, so everybody's struggling with the track limits a bit here. As Sparks in one lap nearly gapping a second to Frosty, and they're on very similar battery as well. And Sparks just dipped. He somehow gets the DRS. Frosty getting blessed there as the gap was 1.1. I didn't check it under the detection point though. And now that'll draw Frosty back into 1 second, but in one lap, Sparks pulled 1.1 as there's a yellow flag. We pray that's not Milan. It is Milan. Milan not having a fun time of things here at Imola. But Frosty now 5 tenths behind Sparks because of the DRS. And now he also used a lot of his battery, so Sparks will be able to try pull away again. Magic Shot losing touch of DRS range to Frosty though. That is really important in this race, that Magic Shot hangs in that if he wants to try keep a podium. As you can see, just looming in the background there. Sonic's not messing about. So, Frosty pushing hard. Sparks still pulling away. Sparks on the same tyres, similar battery. Just having a bit better pace as Sonic's just not able to make too many inroads just because of DRS. Every time he closes up through the middle, and then you get to a straight and he loses a lot of times. I need to invite Noah again. He's just not online. Love that. Anyway, meanwhile, Jaden making his first move since his pit stop, I think. I think he's only made other positions from spins. But he makes a move on Broadstar, moves up into P14. And Jaden, after that front wing loss from I don't know what, still making his way up through the grid, not giving up here in this race in that Mercedes, which is what, as the Mercedes team principal, I love to see. As now he's going to try and make another move in this race. He makes a move past Webbo down the straight, at least he's trying to, but Webbo has some insane straight line speed, so Jaden having to turn on the overtake here, and oh my god, that was interesting defense from Webbo. Jaden goes to the inside, Webbo cuts the corner, rejoins behind Jaden. That was interesting. Webbo looked like he was defending the inside. And yeah, I mean, Jaden then went to the outside, then Webbo went to the outside, then Jaden went to the inside, and Webbo tried to go to the inside, so that's just unfortunate. But Webbo picks up a 3-second time penalty, and now Jaden is right on the back of Mickey, so Jaden making some absolutely amazing progress in this race. So, Oh, Frosty looking to go for a move on Sparks. Sparks goes to the inside. Frosty goes to the inside. Sparks on the outside. Frosty gets through on Sparks, and Sparks are now under pressure from Magic Shot, who goes to the inside at the hairpin. And, oh, he thought about it, but didn't quite commit to it. Magic knows he just needs to keep his nose clean, but Zonix now, it went from lurking in the background to basically being there. He's now only 1.2 seconds behind these top three from last place on the grid. On lap 12, he might be in this DRS. If he can get into that DRS, that's his race set up for him, and he just needs to go and get the overtakes done. Zonix, not quite within 1 second yet, but he still has a sector to do it. Will stay on the rear wing of Magic Shot as Zonix tries to catch up. Zonix has a bad chicane, and now he's going to lose down the straight again. Getting into the DRS is going to be super difficult for him here, I think, until they start battling again. But to be fair, they've been battling every single lap of this race. Zonix, whoa, he just about missed out on the DRS. He's now within 9/10, but now he will lose down the straight. Maybe not, though. And he did just use a bit of battery. He's 9/10. Oh no, he just loses out a second. As Sparks makes a move for the lead once again. Clears Frosty. And Sparks now still under pressure from Frosty here. And he just has so much more grip on the high-speed entries, he just doesn't even really have to use the brakes. As 104 into the apex, Frosty takes 103. He just carries such a higher speed, does Sparks, and just has a lot of grip. But down the straights is where Frosty really pulls it back. Frosty just, with the DRS, just able to hang on and clench onto the DRS. So Zonix now well within DRS range as he joins the fight here for the top three after Frosty's penalty. But Frosty not going to give up that easy. And obviously other penalties will probably be applied as there's still a long way to go in this race. And no, I don't say that. I've never had a problem with connection on my PlayStation. I've genuinely, this game, never disconnected from a lobby without leaving. I've had problems with joining a lobby mid-session, but I've never disconnected from a lobby. Not on my PlayStation or my PC. As now, Magic Shot goes to the outside of Frosty. Yeah, I'll give you an invite in a second, Noah. As, Frosty just makes contact with Magic Shot, leaves him no space, and that leaves Magic Shot down to P4, and probably a track limits warning, and now he needs to really push to get back into that DRS range. Frosty not playing particularly nice there, playing a bit dirty. As we'll now give Noah invite. There we go. So Magic Shot closing back up quite quickly because these guys are battling, and now it's going to be Magic versus Frosty again, but Sparks putting the burners on. Zonix is also now behind him. I think Zonix is the fastest man in this race, bar Jaden Squires potentially, but we can't really see Jaden's pace that consistently because he's down the back of the grid. But he has a lot of battery, and he has been making moves. Zonix on 38%, Sparks on 43%, and now Sparks will be under pressure here. As now Zonix opens up the DRS, and he's gaining on Sparks. Not really. Not really at all. And Sparks using a touch of his battery, but Zonix didn't really gain much on the straight there at all. And Sparks just picking up the throttle a bit earlier than Zonix. But Zonix still gets a good run underneath Sparks, and Zonix thought about going up the inside. Couldn't quite pull it off. And Zonix just not going to give up easily, to say the least. There's been no safety cars yet in this race. Actually, not even a DNF yet in this race. So it's interesting to see as Sparks drops back very weirdly there. That could have been lag, potentially. And oops, I went to Kizzy. Sparks just controlling the pace of the grid, it seems. Whenever he wants to gap, he pulls a gap. Whenever he wants to just sit back and relax, he just sits back and relaxes. So he just controls the pace of that top four, I think. But those P3 and P4 have dropped back because I think Frosty just defending too hard from Magic Shot. They were in a train, and now they're definitely not. They're 1.7 seconds, nearly 2 seconds behind. So Frosty not making this easy on Magic Shot, and definitely making him lose touch of the top 3. And now Sparks and Zonix both into the pit lane. Let's see what tyres they put on their car. It's lap 15, so I imagine they'll put on the hards. Sparks is going to put on a set of the hards. Zonix is going to put a set on a set of the hards. And yeah, there we go. Everybody, a few people on the mediums pitting. Honestly, the hard runners could pit for mediums and be quicker, so I think the lap to pit is quite similar between the two tyres, just because there's no tyre wear. But Jaden, obviously, he did have to pit for mediums only a few laps into the race, and will have to pit very soon and drop back again. But Jaden, with the undercut, comes out ahead of them by 2.4 seconds, putting him theoretically in the provisional lead if he wouldn't have had to pit again. And Jaden will probably just end up going back to his start of race set of hards. That way he'll try stretch enough to go to the softs. As Frosty making a move on Mickey there. So, Mickey, yeah, not having great pace right now. As, oh, we have seen a DNF now. I didn't even see it, given it was from internet connection, not driving, but Noah picking up a DNF there. And Magic Shot staying out, leading the way on the hard tyres, will probably be undercut even more by those leaders who have gone onto the fresh hards. As Sparks making inroads on Jaden very quickly and pulled 1.1 seconds from Zonix. That's a lot of time gain. The fresh tyre advantage over Jaden I understand, but he's just... Zonix came out of the pits right behind him, and now the gap is 1.2. As Jaden now comes into the pits on his medium tyres. Magic still staying out on his hards. Frosty moves up into P4. So Sparks now taking the provisional lead of this race. Magic 22 seconds ahead of them. And Zonix 1.2 behind Sparks now. So we'll stay on board with Sparks as he pushes away from Zonix. And yeah, he just has a lot of grip, doesn't he? Picking up the throttle a lot earlier. Zonix gaining a little bit of time there though, still. Don't know how, as the minimum speed was higher on Sparks. As Sparks picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So that is crucial in this race. He'll now have to push very, very hard to get away, and he has got the battery on. And it's going to be about a 15-lap shootout till the end here. As Sparks just pulling away whenever he needs to. No, you can't. I would say yes, normally, but like, dead set, we get it. Geordie, shut your mouth, alright? I'm talking about it because I think it's also just interesting. Because sometimes he does and sometimes he doesn't. Oh, there we go, there's the safety car. And it's Jaden. We bottom 10. That's it. I'm firing. As Jaden spun there and it has no wing, but that honestly helps him. And that helps his teammate, because now Magic will come out in P1, and that allows Jaden to close up to the rest of the field. And Jaden just has to replace his front wing, and then he can start making overtakes. But nearly everyone up and down the field has a penalty, and my word, that's outrageous. Only Magic Shot, Zonix, Melbourne Mac, and Taipan TJ, and Jaden Squires don't have penalties. That is a penalty board to look at. Sparks has 3 seconds. Frosty has 3 seconds. PS Bomber, Alpha 3 have 3 seconds. Phoenix has 9 seconds. Spicy has 3 seconds. Kia has 8 seconds of time penalties. The man who went P2 he's just lingering down the grid now. Mickey has 3 seconds, Broadstar has 3 seconds, same with Webber and Milan, and then Kizzy has 9 seconds. As now Magic Shot is on the mediums till the end of this race. Melbourne Mac goes P2 with 3-lap-old tyres, so that's honestly not bad. He's in a very good position in this race now, especially without a penalty, as, oh no. Well, it was a drive-through for Mickey for speeding under safety car, I think. And then there was a 5-second time penalty to Jaden Squires for speeding in the pit lane. That is unfortunate. As Noah said, I'm gonna fire myself. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I didn't even hire myself, so. Fair enough. No. Oh. Anyway. Oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Anyway. Sorry, that caught me off guard. Sparks just nearly ran up Melbourne Mac's ass, and then Melbourne Mac luckily ghosted. I got my 3 seconds because Sparks didn't care and give me any room. Yeah, I saw that. But you gotta make sure to get your race director, Frosty. And you gotta make sure to show the incident with Sparks. And obviously, with that race director, it'll show us if you got any more warnings. So, anyway, I just went really quiet for really long. I just noticed I just zoned out really badly. Anyway, we'll go to... Yeah, well, we're already on the tyre detail. So, most people pitted for fresh tyres. So we have Magic Shot on 1-lap-old mediums, Melbourne Mac on 4-lap-old mediums, in a decent position in this race if he keeps no penalties. He'll be probably in the podium places. Then we have Sparks in P3. Noah, I think you're referring to Nuggies, if you're talking about Clockson's comment. Yeah, Nuggies, yeah. So Sparks on mediums, Zonix on mediums with no penalties. Then we have Phoenix on old hard, or 4-lap-old hards, not really old, but they're older than most people's tyres and a lower harder compound. Then Frosty on fresh mediums, Taipan on fresh mediums, Webbo on 4-lap-old hards, PS Bomb on fresh mediums, same with Alpha 3 Spicy and Kia Plays, then Milan on 4-lap-old hards, Mickey 1-lap-old mediums, Kizzy 2-lap-old mediums, Jaden fresh softs to the end. I think they can make it just. And he has no penalties, so as long as he can get moves done, he can get a decent result. And I mean, pretty much on penalties, he's already up into the top 7. So, you know. And then Broadstar on fresh mediums, and Noah DNF'd with 14-lap-old mediums. Now, penalties, this is something to look at. Holy moly, that's a lot. Oh, this is outrageous. Magic Shot on 0 penalty, same with Melbourne Mac and Zonix, and then there's only Taipan and Jaden with no penalties. And then everybody else, so Sparks, Phoenix, Frosty, Webbo, PS Bomber, Alpha 3 Spicy, Kia Plays, Milan, Mickey, Kizzy, and Broadstar all have penalties. And that's what I'm saying, Geordie. How do they have penalties? It's Imola. And where do you go outside the track limits, except for the quick left-hander that they're coming up to, going up the hill? That's the one corner you can possibly get penalties at. Oh, and the chicane. But these drivers aren't taking it off the curb to get penalties at the chicane. So, lap 21 or 32, it looks like it's going to be a 10-lap sprint till the end, because when the safety car comes in, we'll cross the line for lap 22. And, or at least I think it'll come in this lap, as everybody is caught up. We'll get told soon. As, yep, safety car in this lap, and Magic Shot now controls the field. And leading for the Mercedes is Magic, and his teammate at the back of the grid looking to make his way through, but he's already P7 or P8 after penalties right now, pretty much. And Mickey has to serve a drive-through. When is Magic going to go, though? He might go out of the exit of the final corner. When is he going to bolt, and will Melbourne Mac react well? But the main thing we've got to look for is how well will Sparks react and get past Melbourne. So, Magic has gone. Melbourne sticks with him alright. And now Sparks burning the battery, but he has Zonix right on him. Zonix looking for a move here on Sparks. Sparks didn't get the best reaction. And Zonix now on the inside. But we got to go Melbourne Mac versus Magic Shot into turn 1. Magic holds the lead. Zonix gets squeezed by Sparks as we go through the apex. Phoenix now getting made a move on Frosty. And Phoenix loses out the position. And there's a safety car again. I've no idea why. Looks like Kizzy. Yeah, Kizzy has no wing. And I don't know why somebody losing their wing causes a safety car. This game. Sorry, I've just seen a... Oh my god, just let me do my drive-through, says Mickey in the chat. Geordie says Drifts is last. So he's not having a fun time with things. Geordie's about to fire Mickey live in chat, guys. Mickey, how are we this far down? Geordie, your tier 2 team is washed, says Glockson. As I thought, Kizzy obviously having to dive into the lane. Milan also diving into the lane. I don't know why, I didn't think I saw him with damage. As Alfa Romeo also comes in. Can I stop yawning? And Alfa Romeo type in. TJ also comes into the lane, onto soft tyres and a new wing for Milan, so he did have damage. Kia coming in for fresh softs. And Kizzy replacing his wing and fresh softs. So, it won't change up the road. We go pointless again. So, Toto is Gunther Steiner for Alpine. Anyway, we'll go to the tyres. Who's on fresh softs? Taipan TJ, Kia plays, Milan and Kizzy. If Kia can start making moves, maybe he has a chance to get into the top 10. But I don't see him going much further than that. I think we should make it so the team that gets last in overall constructors at the end of this season has to be the Haas TP. I think that'd be funny. I'm gonna get a forced accent at this rate, says Geordie. Well, no, because, you know, you can still win the title in Tier 1 and just about clutch up, because I'm sure there'll be teams that get 0 points. I mean, my Tier 2 team last season at Alfa Romeo literally scored like 5 points in Tier 2, and I didn't get last in overall constructors. I got like P6. So there's hope. Breaking news, Alpine renamed to Haas after Haas renamed to Alpine. No, bro, hold on, let's think. It's BWT Haas Alpine Cash App Racing. If we're talking about 2024 F1 team names. Well, Cash App will sponsor every team on the grid. They've got AlphaTauri already, or Racing Bulls, or whatever the frick it's called. If you put Cash App into my team. BWT, Alpine, and Renault, Chaps, Stake, Better Sauber F1 team. Hey, Geordie, just saying. You were the one... Geordie Trust, I'm 12% sure I'm gonna make a comeback, says Mickey. Alrighty. So we'll watch a Mickey comeback after a drive-through. He's just got to be able to serve it and then hope there's another safety car. Anyway, the safety car should be in at the end of this lap. Yep, as we get the announcement. So Magic Shot gets checked up a little bit. Oh, there's contact at the... Oh, what is going on? Guys, what has happened? What is going on? Anyway. So, as we're about to get underway for the restart here, Magic Shot leads, followed by Sparks this time, so Melbourne Mac dropped down a fair way, and Magic Shot bolts early, and once again, Sparks is potentially going to get put under pressure from Zonix as we go off board. Sparks maybe going for a move on Magic Shot. Yep, he opens up the battery, and he's going to use half of it before we even get to turn 1 the restart. Magic Shot defending well. Now Zonix gets underneath Sparks, and Sparks gives Zonix the big squeeze. They make a big contact, but as we head into turn 4 and 5, who will keep the position? There's contact, and Sparks spears off into the wall, and he's out of this race. And that is another safety car, and Mickey doesn't get to serve his drive-through. Oh no. Oh no. I genuinely feel bad. This poor man right here, Mickey, he hasn't been able to come into the pit lane. Sparks with his superior grip levels thought that he could just dive it into the corner and he'd be Jesus. He has to follow the safety car in or he'll get a DSQ. No, I don't think, because when a safety car comes out, I think it neutralizes the amount of laps left. Anyway, oh, drivers diving into the pit lane. Magic Shot being one of them, so big change up in strategy here. Jaden stays out and takes P2 on the track, P1 after penalties. Rapid Mickey's in P3 but has to serve a drive-through. Taipan in P4 in ORL Tier 2. Boys, what are we seeing? The Rapid Tier 4 winner could get a podium in ORL. What are our thoughts on that? We are 3rd and 5th. I can't watch anymore. Oh no. Guys, I think Geordie's just about had it. But after Mickey serves this drive-through, Taipan TJ will be an effective P2 in Rapid. Should I come in? What do you mean? You just boxed. Do you mean should you have come into the pits? No, I don't think you should have, honestly. I think your tyres were fine. make some moves, Magic. We've got to see prime Daniel Ricciardo out of you. You have no penalties, so after penalties right now you're sitting, okay, so you gain 1 position, 2 positions, 3 position, 4 position after penalties, if you can stay within 3 seconds of Alpha 3. So right now you're more sitting like P4 or P3. Can I pit the same lap the SC comes in? No, I don't think so, Mickey. I don't think so. Because it's still under the safety car yellows until the leader bolts. So it'll get confused. As we see a Haas into the lane of Frosty. Yeah, Magic. Prime Daniel Ricciardo, mate. Prime Daniel Ricciardo this. Just absolutely send it. No, Alpha 3 isn't winning, he's just leading. Because he stayed out. Anyway, this man Magic Shot is gonna be... Oh my god, my controller, please! Sorry. This man Magic Shot will be under a bit of pressure here to make his way back through, but right now he's sitting already like provisional P4 or P3 after penalties. No, Clockson, that didn't happen. He just thought with the grip that he was Jesus and went up the inside. Also, Jordy, are you able to VC after this race, by the way? Just ask now, get it out of the way. Anyway, Jaden looking on for a win here if his tyres hold up, which, considering it's been basically purely safety car. It's looking likely, as the safety car is in this lap, and we have Alpha 3 leading it away. No. Kia, I would rather die. Anyway, yeah, Alpha 3 leading the way on this restart. Jaden looking for a win here. He was leading earlier. I honestly didn't see him coming back because it didn't look like there was going to be a safety car, but now we've had like 3 in the span of a minute. Magic Shot trying to come back through. Mickey needing to serve his drive-through. Taipan could potentially get a podium in the Alfa Romeo here. And we get underway for the Grand Prix. Mickey follows the safety car in. Taipan TJ takes provisional P2 now, and Jaden now needs to chase down Alpha 3. Kizzy makes his way past Kia, but obviously has more penalties, as Mickey gets disqualified for ignoring a drive-through penalty. Kia forces Magic Shot off the track. Magic rejoins, loses a position, gets a bad exit, and is now potentially going to be under pressure from more people, so Kia putting their elbows out and not particularly driving great. As now Magic gets a brilliant run, makes contact with Zonix, and now Magic goes up the inside for the double overtake over the gravel. What a move there from Magic Shot, if he can keep it done. But Zonix trying to keep back at him as we go through the left-hander. Who will get the position? Magic holds onto it. And that is a good move there from the Mercedes. And now he's provisional P3 after penalties. And that would be a Mercedes double podium. Taipan TJ trying to put pressure on Jaden Squires now for the lead of the Grand Prix. But we got to go further back as Spicy had a bit of a side-by-side moment there with someone into the chicane. And Milan putting pressure on to Melbourne Mac, it seems. He is going to go up the inside, and he makes the move up into P9. Melbourne gets shoved out onto the gravel and loses out more places. Brodstar gets forced over the curb, but will move back to the lead as Taipan TJ trying to make inroads on Jaden still. Jaden honestly not looking super pacey here compared to Taipan, and Taipan lifting off, and Kizzy goes for a move up into the top 3, gets it done. Magic Shot losing positions, a lot of them. In fact, he was in provisional P3, now he's not. Zonix is after these penalties. That was definitely interesting. I didn't even catch what happened there. Magic just found himself dropping down positions, and now Zonix moves up into P3, and that kind of crushes Magic's hopes and dreams here as he moves back up into P6. But he has a lot of pacey drivers ahead of him that he's not really going to be able to overtake that quickly. But Taipan and Jaden... Sorry, I'm dying here, boys. Need to pull away from Zonix in these final, basically, 2 laps, and there's a safety car! As Magic Shot and Kia were going to go side by side into the hairpin, but with only 2 laps to go, the safety car comes out, and I have absolutely shit nose of a clue of why. as it looks like Phoenix. I'm not sure though. So Magic shot in P5 now with the safety car has to come in at pretty much the end of this lap, with this lap here, lap 30. So we have 2 laps of racing. Zonix needs to get an amazing restart. Jaden needs to try gap away from Taipan. And Magic needs to try and make moves on Kizzy and Kia while staying with Zonix. So that's going to be super interesting to watch on this restart. We went from having no DNFs on like lap 15 to having 1 DNF from a disconnect from Noah. And then having a DSQ from Mickey. And then having like 3 DNFs in the space of like 4 laps from safety car restarts. It was nearly a DNF-less race. Down to a lot of DNFs now. There's 5 DNFs. It's not ideal. But anyway, the safety car will have to come in at the end of this lap, otherwise it'll come in with 1 lap to go and it'll be Abu Dhabi 2021, which isn't allowed in the game, for obvious reasons. So we will obviously see another safety car restart. This time not led by Alpha 3, who's down in P7. This time led by the Mercedes of Jaden Squires, who's looking to get a redemption win after his loss in Australia. But he's going to have some competition to fight with Zonix and Taipan. But I think Taipan might pull some defensive moves here, because it's a high chance he gets a podium, but it isn't guaranteed. The safety cars in this lap will have 2 laps of racing to decide the second round of this this championship here for Tier 2. It doesn't get much better than this. Tier 2 is pretty much peak racing, if you ask me, and this is exactly why. But it all comes down to this for the win in this Grand Prix. Who will prevail? Jaden, Taipan, or Zonix? Or will we see someone outside of the top 3 take the win, like a Magic Shot or Melbourne Mac coming from absolutely nowhere? We'll have to see. But Jaden bolts away early. Taipan sticks with him. And now Zonix burning all of his battery, trying to get up behind Taipan TJ. As we get underway here, Taipan gets past Jaden. Zonix might get past Jaden too. Jaden won't let that slide quite that easily though. And he holds on to P2. But Taipan running away with P1 right now. 4 tenths is the gap as we move further back down the grid. We'll turn the telemetry off so we can see more of what's going on. But I think we have to stay with this lead fight. Zonix on the back of Jaden. He might go to the inside. He does go to the inside. Zonix making a dive bomb here on Jaden for P2 in this race, and he gets it done. Zonix are not playing around here. Spicy picks up a 3-second, but now Zonix has to chase Taipan TJ on lap 31. We might see Taipan TJ take home a win here if he can not get a penalty. And Jaden also needs to try stay with Zonix here, but he's dropping back a little bit. This isn't going to be easy. Zonix already on the back of Taipan, and they're both a bit slow through the chicane, but Zonix gets a run underneath Taipan. Jaden also has a good run. This is anyone's game here as Magic gets a penalty, but only 3 seconds, so he won't lose out to anyone behind him, so he'll still probably get P4 in this race. But Jaden still in with a shot. Zonix also in with a shot. No DRS though. And so it's going to be all the battery burnt as we turn the telemetry on. Who has the lower wings? And Jaden not quite having the same slipstream. Jaden is going to have to push incredibly hard. Taipan's going to have to defend incredibly hard. Zonix tries to get underneath him here. Taipan not making it easy. Jaden now trying to come through. Zonix tries to find the inside. Jaden backs out. And there's a yellow flag. It's another DNF. It's Spicy. And as we enter into Sector 2, I still don't know who's going to win. None of us do. This is going to be such a tight finish here. Zonix is going to have to go for a move at any point soon. It's going to come down to the final 2 corners as Taipan gets a good run through there, but Zonix gets a bad exit. So I need to take a breath. Okay, Jaden now still sticking behind, but I don't think it's going to be his day yet. And Zonix looking for a move somewhere. It's just anywhere at all. Zonix looking for it. And Zonix pushing Taipan through the corner. Taipan has a bit more battery, but Zonix burning all of his now as we head into the final 2 corners on the final lap of this Grand Prix. Who's going to take the win here? Who gets the better exit? They make contact. Zonix on the outside. He's going to take the win. And, oh no, Taipan spins into the wall. And Zonix takes home the win followed by Jaden, then Magic Shot. It's a Mercedes double podium. Kia picks up P4, Milan P5. I'm out of breath. Give me a second, boys. Okay, I've taken a breath. Maybe also a sip of water, hold on. Holy crap, I don't have enough breath to commentate a whole lap without taking a breath, guys. Whew. Zonix, at least for now, we might see appeals or something from him, but I don't know how his race went overall, so we don't know if he had any incidents. But Zonix, going from last on the grid to P1 in this race, being saved a lot by safety cars. And then Jaden P2 after starting from pole. Then we have Magic Shot, so the Mercedes 2 and 3, that's huge for the constructors. And then we have Kia plays in the Alpine picking up P4. Then Milan, Melbourne Mac, Webbo, Kizzy, Taipan, who was looking like he was going to win the race, but he gets P4 now. I mean, P9, and that's just super unfortunate out of the final corner there. And then we have Broadstar, Frosty, Spicy, Alpha 3, Phoenix, PS Bomber, Sparks, DNFing after a stupid incident with Zonix. Then Noah and Mickey round out your grid. And I think that's all the results there for Geordie on the stream. But yeah. Anyway, let's get ready for interviews then. So at Sonics, at Magic Shop, at Jaden, Squires, Paddock, please. Okay. Just getting everyone in. We'll go to the showroom while everybody joins.
Yeah.
As who would we have up first?
I made one bad with my bad call to come in.
Anyway, so we're just waiting for Zonix for interviews. Zonix, Paddock, BC. Just give him a minute. There it is. Okay, we have all three. So we'll start with P3. Magic Shot getting the podium, I think. I can't... yeah, he did get a podium. Sorry, that's why I get him in the interviews. I don't know what's going on in my head right now. Anyway, yeah, mate, great result. P3. You've got to be pretty happy with that, but getting that penalty at the end definitely nearly hurt you if you would have made up more positions on the top three. But you did get the podium, revenge after last week, but you were looking to be in a better position than that if you hadn't pitted, do you think?
Yeah, I thought I could have looked for the win, I think. So, could say I'm happy with the podium, but I think that a win with the strategy of those hards starting in the first stint is definitely the right call. But I think it was a good race overall. Obviously, having the incident at turn one, like getting forced right into the gravel, was very good. Yeah, just happy to recover from those and be back on the podium after missing out last week.
Yep, so hopefully that carries you more momentum in to round 3, so you've already had 2 pretty good results. I think it was a P4 and now a P3. So you're in a pretty decent place in the driver's standing, so good luck for the rounds coming. And thank you for your time for the interview. We'll now move to your teammate, actually. Jaden, mate, P2, nearly picked up the win there. Just run us through what happened there at the end. It just seemed like you didn't quite have the pace.
No, I had a set of softs on that were really old, and I knew they wouldn't last. So Taipan was behind me. I told him to overtake me straight away off the restart. And I tried to hold off Zonix as best I could, but I knew he'd dive me at the hairpin, and my tires just didn't have the grip to go for the switchback. But I tried to get him nonetheless. But hey, pole to a podium after getting taken out like 3 times. That's all good.
Yeah, and obviously you did have to come from the back of the grid there after you lost your end plate, I think it was, on one of the opening laps. So
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
making your way back up definitely was pretty good. But do you think if that last safety car didn't come out, you might have been in a better position to hold P2 or P1, sorry?
No, I knew Taipan had the better set of softs anyway, so he would have won it. I would have just held off in P2.
Yeah, so either way, you would have gotten P2. Are there any extra comments you want to make on that race, or are you just happy to get the double podium?
Just happy to get a double podium, and Zonix P18 to P1. What a king. I saw the fight between him and Taipan. Kinda was hoping they'd both just push each other off the track, but yeah, it didn't happen. Stuff happens, you know.
Yeah. So speaking of that person, the legend himself this season, it seems, Zonix just never giving up in any sort of situation, at least for these first 2 rounds. P1, mate. Zonix, congratulations. That's a good win for you, and you got to be pretty happy with that one, last to first.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, so talk us through your race, because obviously last to first can be definitely quite action-packed.
Yeah, I had to make a fair few overtakes as expected. I mean, started last. I think one of the key parts was playing it safe at the start. I didn't try make a lot of moves towards the start of the race because I knew there was going to be safety cars and it's always going to be chaos at the start. So I just played it safe, used the battery to get past people that I knew might be a bit risky to go side by side through the chicanes with, and then just slowly made my way up. And I was really, really lucky that the top 3, I think Sparks, Frosty, and Magic Shot were all battling. So that helped me gain a lot of pace because I had clear air, so I could just push. Then caught up to them, and that helped me eventually win the race.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't your fault. It was pretty clear cut. But what were your thoughts on Spark going up the inside of you at the second chicane?
I mean, I did think it was my fault at the time, and then Frosty sent me a clip of afterwards of his perspective, and he had room on the outside, so I don't think that's my fault, but we'll let the stewards decide.
Yeah, it obviously depends on if he reports it or not, but yeah, it was an interesting incident. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's 2 wins in a row for you. Are you trying to pull a Weissman?
Oh, you never know. I don't really want to go up to tier 1, so
Maybe
have to
not
play
then.
it careful.
Maybe sandbag.
Yeah. Got to go no assists for the last couple rounds.
Pull a Mickey then.
Yep.
Yeah, so your team principal, J-Man, I mean, he must be on top of the world, obviously not getting the biggest batch of constructors points, but having one of his drivers dominate the Tier 2 championship while he's, his only other driver in Tier 2, because he's moved down to Tier 2, I keep forgetting that, but, yeah, he must be pretty happy with that, because while he's gone, you're just picking up all of the points.
Yep.
But,
He should be pretty happy.
Yeah, he'll be happy with you, and do you plan on reserving later for tier 1?
Maybe. You never know.
Maybe. Yeah, that's fair enough. That is completely fair. But yeah, thank you for your times on it. Congratulations on the P1, mate. And
Thank
maybe
you.
you can go 3 in a row. I actually don't know what next week's track is, though.
Me neither.
Because I didn't make the calendar
Singapore.
for once. MX made it, so I keep forgetting.
Singapore.
Oh, Singapore. That's going to be a good race.
Yeah, I think I know a few quick drivers in that tier 2 grid around there, and obviously
Yep.
Singapore was one of the best races last season. But anyway, we still have tier 1 to go at Imola, so we'll talk more about Singapore after tier 1. But I'll talk to you guys next week if you guys are all on the podium again.
Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy.
This guy. Anyway, that is it for your tier 2 action. The Savo and tier 1 will commence at 7:30. I'm not sure who will be on the comms box, but I don't think it'll be me today. But yeah, whoever is on the comms, maybe me. We'll see you then. So thank you for watching tier 2, and we'll see you next week.